Good evening and welcome to the December 15, 2025 legislative session of the Salisbury City Council. In the event of an emergency, please remain calm and exit through the double doors that you came in. Make a right and proceed to the stairwell. If the hallway is blocked, then exit to the left, around the corner, and down the stairs. Please do not use the elevator and let us know if you need any assistance. At this time, can everyone silence your cell phones? We'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, and can Councilwoman DeShield lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our invocation this evening, we're going to ask Pastor Keith Conkle from the Canvas Church to come forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us here. Would you join me in prayer, please? Father, we come before you tonight to ask for clarity and wisdom in all that we do and all that we speak. Allow it to be glorifying to your name, the name of Jesus Christ our Lord. I thank you for your protection over our city of Salisbury and to all those who call this city home. Open opportunities that we may gather in peace to serve our community with one another. Help us to be grateful to those who have accepted these responsibilities to lead, to listen, to make crucial decisions that affect the lives of many. Grant this council wisdom, discernment, and compassion in all decisions made for the best of Salisbury. May every conversation tonight be guided with compassion and understanding, every decision shaped by integrity, and every action motivated by sincere desire to serve Salisbury by all who call in this room tonight. I pray that we are mindful of those in our community who are struggling during this Christmas season, the vulnerable, the unheard, and those in need of hope. Teach us all to lead, not for personal gain, but for the well-being of everyone in our community. May we seek unity over division and cooperation over conflict. Father, bless us this time of year as we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ with peace, joy, and care for one another. We ask all this in your holy name, Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Thank you. I do want to recognize Hanukkah and to all that are celebrating Hanukkah. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the victims regarding the massacre in Australia yesterday. Just put that out there. I want to do a presentation and adoption of our agenda. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the legislative agenda?
So move. Second.
Ms. English?
Good evening, Council. The agenda for this evening consists of several meeting minutes on the consent agenda, award of bids, 5 resolutions, 2 ordinances, public comment, and adjournment.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? And the chair votes aye. All right, our consent agenda, can I get a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Ms. English?
We have meeting minutes for September the 8th, 2025 for the closed session. We have September the 22nd, 2025. We have closed session minutes, legislative session minutes, and work session minutes. And then we have 2 for October the 6th, 2025, legislative and work session.
And just as last time, I will abstain since I was not at those meetings.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have one abstain, and the chair votes aye. Awarded bids, can I get a motion and a second to approve the awarded bids?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Lowe? Welcome, good evening. Hi, Mr. Lowe.
Mr. Lowe.
I only have one item this evening, so it should be quick.
The Department of Procurement seeks award of bid approval from the Salisbury City Council for the solicitations as defined herein. The Department of Procurement followed required procurement policy and procedure as defined by the City of Salisbury Charter and Municipal Code of Ordinances for the procurements presented below. ITBA 26114, Police Safety Systems, obviously the Department of Police. Commodity description, the ALPR system expansion and software system expansion. Contract that we are going to utilize to purchase this is the Texas Department of Info Systems, DIR CPO 5844. The vendor name, Flock Safety Systems. Total cost, $398,890. Funds are available in the GL account listed in the packet. And per authority per City of Salisbury Charter SC 16-3, General Policy of Competitive Bidding Exceptions, states that competitive bidding is not necessary or appropriate in the following circumstance. Item A.9, contracts in which the city receives a contract price negotiated by the state, county, or other governmental entity pursuant to a valid contract. Cooperative purchases are permitted under Texas Department of Info Resources, DIR CPO 5844.
Well, anybody have any questions? Council have any questions?
Mr. Lowe, I have a question regarding, it's an annual recurring after year one. How long does that just goes on for extended period of time? And then do they replace equipment after that?
That's where I get slippery with vendors, so we always have it out in case of non-appropriation.
Right.
The initial term's 3 years, so they will budget in subsequent years.
I was just curious. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else any questions? Have a comment? This is the program that for LESMA, we'll do a presentation on the 15th.
Yeah.
I
Correct.
believe it's January 15th.
Yep.
So
Yep.
there'll be like a big unfolding of it
Yeah.
coming up.
I think it'll be very cutting edge for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very good. Force multiplier in a big way.
Anybody else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
You too.
Thank you, Mike.
too.
Hey, Michael.
Don't freeze. Stay warm. Get by a wood stove. Okay, we have a bunch of resolutions. Let's see, we have Charter Amendment Resolution 2025-3. Can I get a motion and a second to approve Charter Amendment Resolution number 2025-3 for the first reading?
So moved. Second?
Ms. English?
Charter Amendment Resolution Number 2025-3 to amend SC 5-1 of the Charter to increase the maximum fine for misdemeanors and municipal infractions from $1,000 to $5,000 in accordance with newly updated state law.
I know there were some questions. I want to open it up to questions before we go into council questions, comments.
I had a question. We're going from 1,000 to 5,000. Mira, do you want to come up? It looks to me that the Senate bill states that each municipality may choose an amount up to 5,000. So what was the reasoning behind the big increase from the 1,000 to the 5,000?
Yeah, well, when it goes into what's being actually in the charter amendment is we are just referencing that whatever the state allows for the maximum to be, that's what we can be up to on specific fines. So there are a few that we think there should be maximum penalties of up to 5,000. An example is anybody littering or dumping in the Wacomico River or a tributary. Right now it's 1,000. Before it was $25. So you're talking about something that can cause severe environmental impact to our community as a whole. DID and Waterworks has some fines that probably could fit in there if somebody does something that we find. And it should be more than a $500 fine if it's a serious violation. MDE, a lot of times on some things now, they refer back to municipalities. So there are some things that they no longer enforce. So there's a few in there there would be a few. It's not like we're going to go in and raise every single one. It would be based on the actual violation.
So you have the flexibility, you have the discretion, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're not going to do it for parking citations, obviously, but for something more major, we would like that enforcement authority.
Thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? And the chair votes aye. Resolution number 3441, can I get a motion and a second to approve resolution number 3441?
Second.
Ms. English?
Resolution number 3441 is for the appointment of Kaishir Johnson to the Youth Development Advisory Committee for term ending December 2028.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Resolution number 3442, can I get a motion and a second to approve resolution 3442? So moved. Ms. English?
Resolution number 3442 is for the appointment of Khalil Griffin to the Youth Development Advisory Committee for term ending December 2028.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Resolution 3443, can I get a motion and a second to approve resolution 3443?
So moved.
Ms. English? Oh, sorry about that.
Resolution number 3443 is for the appointment of Karen Earp to the Youth Development Advisory Committee, same term ending December 2028.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Resolution 3444, can I get a motion and a second to approve resolution 3444?
So moved. Second.
Ms. English?
Resolution number 3444 is for the appointment of Robert Kimber to the Human Rights Advisory Committee for term ending December 2027.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. I'd like to recognize our appointees, Kashir Johnson, Khalil Griffin, Karen Earp, Robert Kimbler. If you're here, could you please stand so we can thank you for volunteering on our committees? We just want to put out there a thank you for everybody who volunteers and takes their time to help us improve the city. Thank you. Okay. That's it, right? No?
Resolutions. Moving on to ordinances.
Okay, ordinance number 2966. Can I get a motion and second to approve ordinance 2966 for the second reading?
So moved. Second.
Ms.
Good evening, council and administration. Ordinance number 2966. This is an ordinance of the City of Salisbury, amending Chapter 2.25 of the Salisbury City Code entitled Labor Code to better define employee and to change the timeline for bargaining. Before you tonight for second reading, there's been no changes or amendments.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Ordinance number 2967, can I get a motion and a second to approve ordinance number 2967 for second reading?
Second.
Ordinance number 2967 It's an ordinance of the City of Salisbury to accept funds awarded by the Department of Natural Resources, Local Parks, and Playground Infrastructure Grants Program for the City of Salisbury's North Prong Park project. This is before you tonight for second reading. No changes or amendments.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. I know we've been waiting for a long time for that. It's finally coming, so that's great. Good news, good news. All right, public comments. We'll now hear public comments. You'll have 3 minutes. If you wish to comment, please come up to the podium, state your name, and if you are a city resident.
No timer today, I take it. KT, city resident. After last week's city council meeting, or the last city council meeting, I really do think it's time for us to think about our elections here in the city, because a lot of people don't feel very represented right now, and I understand. The appointment clause is ripe for wrongdoing. I'm not saying this in particular, it has nothing to do with this particular one, but I think if the wrong people picking the wrong person is going to happen one day, and it'd be bad. So I think special elections is definitely something we need to think about for that. We also need to start thinking about ranked choice voting, because I've lived here since 1992, and I can't remember a mayor as unpopular as this one. So the only way that we can have fair representation with a nonpartisan election is through ranked choice voting. And finally, Mayor, what are your intentions with Black Lives Matter Boulevard? Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, we got a couple others coming.
Good evening. My name is John Rankin. I'm a resident of Salisbury. I live in District 5, which is Angeles District. I guess for the first, with regard to what the previous speaker said, claiming that the mayor is the least popular mayor in the city, others in previous meetings have said that he only received 33% of the vote, or 35, whatever it was. But fact is, Randy Taylor got more votes than whoever you voted for. So just to clarify that. Last week, I sent an email to each of you councilwomen to bring information to you that retired attorney Bob Taylor had put out regarding the Town of Easton's charter, which has a pretty simple and practical solution to the the situation that we went through in the past several weeks in selecting a new District 2 councilwoman who received 0% of the votes for that district. The Easton Charter provides a very brief description of their process, and earlier today, Attorney Taylor had also sent out information that shows the process that is used in, I think it was about 6 or 7 other Maryland municipalities. So having a system where there is either a recount or the mayor breaks the tie or some other approach, they're out there. But the one that Easton uses seems so practical to me that it seemed like a perfect template for an amendment to our city's our city's charter. And I'm here tonight to urge all of you to consider that change. It's in your email box dated December the 10th. And as council chair, Ms. Blake, I ask that you take the leadership to get that on the agenda sometime for discussions in the near future. We have 2 full years to resolve the issue, and I hope that you show leadership in motion by bringing that up for future discussion soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's on a work session for January, let me see when. January the 12th. Election reform and appointment process conversation.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Monica Brooks. I'm president of Wacomico County NAACP. I'm also a resident of Salisbury. As president of Wacomico County NAACP, I want to speak about community safety because it seems to be a very popular conversation as a shared responsibility, one that belongs to residents, elected leaders, and law enforcement alike. This conversation is not just about the most recent incident, it's also about respect. Respect for one another, respect for the community, and respect for the responsibility that comes with public service. Community safety grows from connection, and connection is built on mutual respect. When people feel seen, heard, and valued, trust has room to grow. That connection must be intentional and ongoing, not limited to the moments of crisis. Engagement is not just an add-on to public safety, it's essential. And there are meaningful ways for residents to be involved in shaping public safety, including community policing initiatives and civilian oversight through the Police Accountability Board. These opportunities strengthen transparency, understanding, and accountability that work best for the community members. Engagement, however, cannot be one-sided. Law enforcement has a responsibility too. Relationship building must be priority across all agencies operating in our area, including the police department, the sheriffs, and Maryland State Police. Trust is built through consistent presence, honest dialogue, and community-based interaction. Elected leadership also plays a vital role, and that's your part in facilitating this work. City council members and the mayor can help by supporting visible, consistent opportunities for the public engagement. And one way to do this is through maybe a quarterly community forum or listening sessions held in different neighborhoods where residents and law enforcement can engage in open, respectful conversation. Another opportunity is the use of community surveys or polls, any way to get the information out to communities. And these tools help ensure that voices from all parts of the community are heard. And I will also encourage consideration of a community law enforcement council made up of community members, youth representatives, faith leaders, and law enforcement. And this council could provide a consistent space to share ideas, build cultural understanding, and develop practical plans. So we also must acknowledge that the work requires resources. Effective engagement, oversight, and youth programs require sustained funding, which we need. We need more funding for some of these things. And I personally am going to reach out to Wacomico County to ask them to sow more into City of Salisbury. City of Salisbury is the largest municipality in this county. We have the most residents concentrated, and we also have so many more things that City of Salisbury has to contend with that the county as a whole does not. But however, the county benefits from the City of Salisbury. So that is a push that I'm going to ask at the council meeting tomorrow for the council to contribute as well. My desire is not only for us to understand and know that there are certain issues that we have to deal with law enforcement, but the community, but also to encourage connection.
Thank you.
Hello, Michael Langford, 1026 Arthur Court. Excuse me. So this evening, I just wanted to talk about the elections in a couple general ways. The voice support for, I do think that we should try ranked choice voting system here. I really think that will lead to a result where people feel represented across the board in a larger percentage of people who live here. I just think that is a general, regardless of the context, a wise maneuver. I think it also allows us to keep it nonpartisan. Most of municipal, government is to do with, picking up the trash, repaving roads, fixing sidewalks, public health and safety. So it really shouldn't. The political, the partisan game shouldn't really come into it because everybody should be able to, see what's in the best interest of all in that public health and safety way if they're making laws about it. And then, again, I'd like to voice support, again, that we do find some kind of charter amendment for in the future so that we can again, like a time frame. If you have somebody serving for multiple years, again, no offense intended at all to anyone personally serving. It's just, it seems prudent that if you want a representative that's supposed to be an elected position, that person is actually elected. And when you have 2 years of service, we have time that we can run a special election. So I would like to voice support for like a charter amendment again to make that a possible thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good cold evening to everybody. My name is Lynn Bratton, former resident of City of Salisbury, now still a Salisbury resident, but in the county. Number one, I would like to see us truly look into some sort of a council charter amendment to make the process of filling a vacancy, if there's more than 100 days, more than 60 days left in that term, so that the people in that particular community can be heard and have a voice representing them, and not someone that's appointed by a group of people from other districts. I think we've said that in nauseam at the last meeting, and thank you for putting it on the agenda for the 12th of January. Number two, as far as the potential for meeting rearranging of times, I think it's going to be brought up on the work session. Whatever works best, I think, is the best plan, but I do still encourage that there be time. In other words, you don't do something at a work session and then you immediately follow it up in a legislative meeting on the same night. And that was the way that had been working pretty well with the twofers. And every other week, you would do your legislative, you'd have a work session, we'd be off for a week, and then you'd come back and you'd have your legislative. And on that agenda would be anything that had been moved from the work session the time before. There was a discussion at one point when we went to the every other week system about having work session, and then you could immediately put something on the legislative on the same night. And that didn't seem to give anybody in the community the time to research those particular topics and possibly do their due diligence on coming before the council for offer comments. And the third thing is something that nobody's really mentioned. In the summertime, the Wicomico County, and I think maybe even the city, they come up with cooling centers for people when it's extraordinarily hot. Maybe that's something we need to be looking at with county resources and or some city resources for warming centers when it's extremely cold. It's actually more deadly to be cold than it is to be hot. I mean, you can always keep kind of peeling off the clothes and drinking ice water to a point, but when you're cold, you freeze and your systems shut down. And there's got to be a way that on the extremely weird, coldest nights, that there could be some place that could be opened as a community warming center, not just for homeless. There could be just elderly or families with children who don't have effective heating systems and their homes are just plain cold. So just think about that. It's kind of a new idea. Maybe we can make it happen before the next winter.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, it is 6:29 p.m. We're going to move right into our work session. It's 6:29 p.m. We're going to begin with presentation of our 2025 financial statement audit. Finance Director Sandy Green and S&B Company LLC is here this evening.
Yeah.
Good evening, council. I have Mr. Seymour here with me tonight, and he is the engagement partner from SB and Company, which is their outside auditors, and I'm just going to turn it directly over to him so that I don't steal any of his thunder because he's got his introductions.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bill Seymour. I'm the engagement partner with SB and Company, and this represents our required communications at the completion of a financial statement audit performed in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards. So I'll walk through the presentation that we have here this evening. Please feel free to stop me with any questions that you may have. We were engaged, and I'm on slide 6, we were engaged to perform an audit. Nope, I was there. Thanks. We were engaged to perform an audit of the June 30, 2025 financial statements. We provided limited assistance with the preparation of those statements. We worked to perform the uniform financial report, which takes the financial statements and puts them in a fit and format for the state of Maryland, as well as performance of the uniform grant guidance audit, what we used to call the single audit, and the related data collection form. And both of those are in the process of being completed. We have no findings there. Next slide, please. The results, we plan on issuing an unmodified, or if you will, clean opinion on the financial statements. That is the best opinion that we are allowed to issue under generally accepted auditing standards. We did not discover any instances of fraud, nor were we made aware of instances of fraud. I would caution that our audit is not a fraud audit. That would be different in scope. However, professional and firm standards require that we perform certain procedures, and through those limited procedures, we noted no instances. We noted no audit journal entries, i.e. no changes in the information that Sandy and her team provided to us. Effectively, kind of is a way to say that if you were to remove the us as the auditors from the financial statement preparation process, we believe that management, through their processes and controls, would continue to create accurate financial statements. A very fancy way of saying that the information that you receive during the course of the year from that same system, we believe to be materially correct. We noted no material weaknesses in internal controls, and we received full cooperation in the performance of the audit. I want to thank Sandy and her team for getting us all of the information that we needed. On this slide, we have a summary for the last 2 years on the entity-wide basis for the city. You can go through and you can see that overall total assets and deferred outflows increased by just about $2 million for the course of the year, as primarily seen as an increase in cash. Next slide. On this slide is the liabilities and net position, and you'll see that overall total liabilities decreased by approximately $7 million during the course of the year, and thus increasing our net position by about $9 million for the year. So all in all, a very good financial year. Next slide. What makes that up is 2 parts, is the revenues for the year, and you can see that revenues were up by about 11% overall, about $9 million. through a series of primarily operating grants increases as well as increases in property and other taxes, as well as investment earnings. Next slide. This was offset by a increase as well in expenses for governmental activities as well as expenses in business type activities for the year, from going from a total of $76.5 million to $82.4 million, which all in all drove, and all the way to the right, you'll see what we call the net revenue or cost of services. That is the difference between charges for services and the specific expenses that relate to it. So for the year ended 2025, that number was $36.3 million. And we show that because really what that means is that is the burden that is now paid for through general revenues, which is primarily driven by property and income taxes for the year. And we can see that we had approximately $38.1 million of property tax and income tax revenue, which was able to fully fund that net cost of services. And through the course of our audit procedures, we had no issues or items that we were required to bring to your attention, difficulties in performing audits. 2 slides up. This is a pictorial of our audit approach. It is a risk-based audit approach, and what the idea behind this audit approach is we plan the audit to focus on areas that we believe have the highest or most material opportunities for material misstatement. And then we look at how management has designed and operated controls to otherwise mitigate those risks during the course of the year, performance of various analytical procedures, substantive procedures, as well as audit standard required items. And through that process, we are able to garner sufficient evidence to be able to issue that unmodified, or if you will, clean opinion. Next slide. We look at controls at really 2 different levels. The first of which is the control environment, following the COSO model of internal controls. That is the 5 interrelated components of the control environment: risk assessment, control activities, monitoring, and information and communication. And you can see in all cases our assessment was effective. Next slide, please. Then we dive down a little bit deeper to key processes and the underlying functions as they underpin internal controls and processes over financial reporting. And treasury, estimation, financial reporting, expenditures, next slide, payroll, revenue, and fixed assets. And you can see in all cases our assessment was effective. Us as auditors, we're not allowed to give, A pluses or A's, but effective is kind of the best that you can do. Effectively, if we would have had problems, significant concerns, we would be using terms like significant deficiency or material weakness, of which we have none of those to report. The remainder of our presentation goes to our specific required communications. This is our opportunity and requirement to chat with you kind of what is underneath the hood of an audit. I spoke earlier that we issuing a unmodified or clean opinion. There's lots of ways for auditors to get there. We could have had lots of audit adjustments. We could have had, disagreements with management, kind of lack of authoritative guidance over items. If accounting policies were ultra aggressive or ultra conservative, we would be required to bring that to your attention. We have none of those items to bring to your attention. There were no significant issues or other items that were problems or things that would cause us concern from an audit perspective. And on slide 20, I'll just close with that we are independent of the city. We did provide some non-attest services, or what we call non-audit services, in the assistance in drafting the financial statements. However, management is able to take full responsibility for that, understands what's in the numbers, so that does not otherwise impugn our independence. And I will stop there to see if there's any questions.
Council, any questions? It seems pretty clean.
Very good news.
I mean, you're giving us good news, so
Yeah.
look,
It's good news.
stop.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
No, this is really nice. Thank you very much.
You,
Very nice packet.
any comments in there relative to like one-time revenue? We had this year some one-time expenses, revenues over.
Yeah, we'll get into it more when we get into like the budget
Yeah.
session,
Yeah.
because I've got like a whole presentation that I do on the financial health of the city, which will pretty much tell what the variances were. And on one of the financial statements, I'm not sure what page it is in your packet, for the general fund, we had increased a surplus of just a little over $4 million. But the majority of that increase to surplus was one-time revenue sources. We had over $1 million in interest revenue. We had $1.5 million from the county for EMS. And we also moved $1 million from the water sewer fund that was left over from the ARP money that we spent on public service, because we couldn't spend it on the service center that we had originally anticipated to spend it on in the water sewer fund. So that was like $4 million of one-time money, and our surplus was $4 million.
Yeah.
So had we not had that one-time money, then if we had hired for some of the positions, the vacant positions that we had, we probably would have had more of a shortfall.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at, yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much. Happy
Thank
holidays.
Same to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sandy, and your finance department. I know it's a lot of
Yeah,
work.
I know.
great job, thank you.
Very nice. Okay. Ordinance of Bless Our Children donation, Housing and Community Development, Director Mir Boda.
Good evening, and in that spirit of the holidays, we annually have our, started off as a Santa's Workshop, has turned into Santa's Winter Wonderland drive-through on the plaza. We decorate the plaza. This year we expanded it, had some arches and stuff. Attendance was down just a little bit, but we do several events. We do this one, which we saw gifts go to several hundred children. We also have a partnership with Glen Avenue. This week, the remainder of those gifts go to Glen Avenue, and I think every child in there is going to get a gift as well. So we get $1,500 this year from Bless Our Children. In addition, I do want to publicly thank some of our partners in this, Toys for Tots. They give us about half of the toys that we distribute. Cloverland Dairy donated milk. We hand out milk and cookies. So a big thank you to Field Operations employee carpenter Scott Bennett and his wife Teresa. Every year they hand out the milk and cookies. We have a station for the toys where they get a toy from Santa Claus. So that was, they always enjoy that. We had the Grinch walking around.
He was a little bit he was a little bit frightening, by the way. I'm just going to keep it real.
But he was handing out candy canes to the kids.
Okay. All right.
He's made
see
a turn.
your turnout was a little down. I can see. All right.
Yeah, he had his eye on you though.
Yeah, he did that. He did that. He was watching.
So we had another station with books, so we get quite a few books as well from Toys for Tots. So we gave out roughly 200 and some books to children. So overall, it's a very good event. A lot of people, ABCD, they helped us with setup and helped us manning the traffic, Salisbury Police Department, and again, Field Operations, they were all a big part of making this event a success.
Nice, very nice. Thank you. Council, have any questions, comments?
It's just great to see the community giving.
I do have one question. Is Glen Avenue the only school that they do give?
That was the one that this year we had the partnership with. We do different things with different schools. We have things our Newton Community Center does do with a couple of the schools, because that's where some of the students go there. We did, and one of the things we're working on, our STEM Center is also mobile. So this fall, we took our STEM Center to Beaver Run, because a lot of the students that live in East Salisbury go to Beaver Run. And we did STEM for a day for all second graders. So they all got to experience our STEM Center. So the great thing about a lot of that stuff is mobile.
What I'm saying is to bless our children, which is Christmas.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
does any other school get to be a part of that? Donation?
This year, we just had enough to do, we wanted to do one school. And so that was the, and it's literally our leftovers from the event. So if we had more toys, we would do more with other schools.
So next year, will you decide to do another school?
Yeah, we'll probably partner we'll try to do a different school every year.
And rotate it.
Yeah.
So we need a consensus to move this forward?
So moved.
Second.
So we can move this forward. Everybody?
Yep.
Move it forward, okay. Thank you, Mr. Boda. It sounds like it was a wonderful event. Okay.
Thanks, Pierre.
See you, Rick.
Give Santa a shout out.
Yeah, sure. I know you're tight.
We're going to be talking about ordinance. I think it's Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore Grant acceptance. Is that true? Is that, because okay. Fire Chief Rob Frampton?
Good evening, Council. The fire department applied for and was awarded a $2,000 mini grant through the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore. What this grant is for our SWIFT team to provide vouchers for transportation to those that cannot afford to get to medical appointments, to social services, clinics, grocery stores, food pantries, and the such. So we've had this grant in the past, and we typically set up the transportation for them, and then they don't have to pay for it. So just looking for your approval to be able to accept the $2,000 grant.
That's phenomenal. Anybody have any questions?
SWIFT program is amazing.
Thank you.
It's very
Amazing.
nice.
Started out well.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So we have a consensus to move this forward? Okay.
Yes.
Okey dokey, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have Title Health Road Closures, Director of Infrastructure and Development, Nick Voltic, and City Planner Betsy Jackson.
Deputy Director Judy.
I also just want to introduce our new Deputy Director of our department to y'all, in case she has to come and present anytime soon. This is Judy Kuntz. She started with us a couple weeks ago.
Hi, welcome, Judy.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have a road closure proposed. Petitioner submitted Title Health. They have a couple of those old streets that are sort of mixed up in the southern part of the complex there amongst the parking lots. They've been not functional as streets for quite a long time. They're looking to do development there, and so now we're kind of proceeding with this road closure. Betsy, if you want to elaborate on it at all.
Specifically, they're requesting to close Royal Street, a portion of West Vine, between West Vine and Newton Street, and then a portion of road known as Center Street between Mitchell and Newton Street. All of that shown on the re-subdivision plat, attachment B. An ordinance is required to close those roads, and those are attached.
Council, any questions about that? Get a chance to look at the map? Yeah,
There are little non-streets.
Yeah, it's a bunch of,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a bunch of non-functioning.
Yeah.
Do we have consensus to move this forward?
Yes. Thank you.
Easy. All right, council discussion. This is city council, we're going to have a discussion on city council meetings, a discussion on moving the council meetings back to the weekly meeting, work sessions. First and third Mondays are the legislative sessions, and the second and fourth Mondays would be, oh, wait a minute, hold on. The first and third are the work sessions. The second and fourth are the legislative sessions. We've had a lot of conversation about this. The mayor's office has reached out. We've had a brief conversation about it. I said I'd like to put it on the agenda for the council to talk about it. If I'm not mistaken, and Nick and Mayor Taylor help me out, but part of it is during the work sessions with staff time, it's the costly with overtime, compensation time.
Yes, so an example would be if we have something that one of the council members would like us to have a director here to discuss. We've had instances in the last couple months where that's 9 o'clock at night before that discussion's happening. We're not asking them to go home and come back, so a lot of times they just continue working. I think it would make it a lot more efficient if that work session meeting would be on a separate Monday, and that's where we are with administration.
We had that arrangement before, and it did work fairly well. I didn't know if that's something the council would consider switching back to. We would probably, Ms. English, help me out. I think we would have to probably wait until February to actually start it because you need to switch internal documentation.
The new software that we're using, there's a template for the agendas. And so we would need to contact the company to change up that template for us with the dates and times and things like that for the meetings. And I honestly don't know at this point how long it would take them to change it. But that on our end is the one thing we would need to take care of.
Okay.
So it wouldn't happen right away, basically. We don't know exactly when, but.
No, and there would be a cost associated, so we would need to get that
Figure that out,
information from
too.
them as well. Mhm.
Mayor, did you want to add any more into that?
Well, I always felt like it worked better in that we had, there were shorter meetings. We get here at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. There's a lot of public comment. We get busy. There's a multitude of ordinances or whatever. It can get lengthy, and I think we can do a little more quality discussion when we're kind of shortening an earlier meeting. Everyone's kind of head in the game, and I think it's easier on everybody, including our staff. So that's just my 2 cents.
Council, comments, suggestions?
I kind of have a
Yeah,
question.
sure.
Are we talking about going back to the original schedule where the work sessions, those meetings would start at 4:30 and then the legislative sessions would start at 6 p.m.?
Right, I think so. The work sessions initially were at 4:30.
That allowed the staff to be and not have to stay
Right,
late.
it was more accommodating staff.
Yeah.
And usually work sessions do demand the staff to be here. It's just by the nature. So it would probably help them out. It would go a long way helping them out. And then the legislative sessions would continue to be at 6.
My problem with that is 4:30, people just getting off from work. People are just getting off from work, and it makes it kind of hard for people to come, or the citizens to come, and speak on behalf of those who you have no employment. It's easy for them, but for people who do have employment, it's hard for them to get here. And I've heard a lot of complaints about it, so that's why I was kind of pleased with how we were doing it, because it gave everybody the opportunity to come to the meetings and be here for the meetings and the work sessions.
Yeah.
I like my every other Monday. Well, I mean, for real, I really do. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you no lie. I like my every other Monday. But if we're going to go back to every Monday, then I think it should be 6 o'clock. I think we have to give the people, the citizens that we represent, an opportunity. Even if they don't come, they have that opportunity to be here.
Well, and that brings up another question, too. A lot of people, and I think this goes in tangent with the 4:30, and I don't know if this is going to solve it, helping the staff out versus having the community be here. But there was a lot of question about going back to the Zoom and having Zoom comments for people who can't get here, people with disabilities, young children, daycare issues. So it may go in tandem. I think we may want to consider that also as being another platform to revisit and go back to open up and widen the participation different ways that people can participate. I just want to throw it out there. I don't know if that, anybody else have any comments about that?
I'm partial to coming twice a month instead of 4, but I wasn't thinking about how it impacted the staff and time and a half, and I would defer to the mayor and the administrative section if this is their recommendation to do it, because they've been here all day, and we haven't.
Right.
But I also agree with April, the 4:30 could be a crunch. So if you can make it 5:30, something like people could come from work, something like that, and that would possibly help alleviate.
I was going to say the
That
same
what-
thing, yeah.
4 o'clock is the end of the day for most of the staff, or is it 4:30, 5 o'clock?
4:30.
4:30.
Okay.
Yeah. It is our recommendation to do every Monday. What time, I will leave that up to you guys. As Mayor said, it's more or less just, I think, if we did them every Monday, and Miss Jackson, I'll say the same thing. When they first told me, I said, I don't want to be here every Monday but I think if we spread these meetings out, these can be faster, more efficient meetings. And even if you start at 5:30 on the work sessions, that's a lot better than 9:30, 10 o'clock when we're trying to put a lot of stuff on an agenda. That's very important. And again, we have citizens that like to be active, which is great. It's just my 4 meetings have been 9:30, 10 o'clock, and I'd much rather than be 7:30 so that I can get home before my kids go to bed.
That's an interesting way of putting it. Active, they're active people, yeah.
So then, mayor's office, you have no problem with like a 5:30 start time? You
No,
don't
ma'am.
see that? Okay, because I agree that 4:30 is too early.
Yeah, that is early.
That's too early.
why we're trying to
What's a good time? What would be a,
I would say, I mean, if we're going to leave it, I would say 6, at least 5:30, to give people time to get off work that work until 4:30 or 5.
Yeah, I think 5:30, probably at the earliest, would probably be best for folks.
And it would, if we did have, like was said, if we have one every Monday, they shouldn't be as long to keep the staff. But yeah, I think 4:30 is just a little too early.
okay.
So 5:30 work session and 6 o'clock.
What are your thoughts about the
6?
I mean, I said 6 because getting off from work, even some people get off at 5. It's a hustle and bustle, especially when they have to go get kids or drop off or do something. And I think 6 o'clock will appease everybody. I think it would be good for everybody. We're meeting at 6 o'clock anyway.
So keep both, every Monday night at 6, either it be a work or legislative.
Okay.
That works.
If we're gonna do
Yeah, that works.
Sounds good.
Works for us.
Okay.
Madam President, I just wanted to add that we would need to consider PAC 14 schedule and legal schedule as well. I just wanted to add that in there.
Well, Ms. Boucher.
I was going to say, it's fine with my schedule, but I do think this requires an amendment to the rules. So we would need to put it on a work session to make the edits to the rules. And so are we moving forward with that, with just changing the time? And/or are we also going to address remote participation?
both.
I have the Zoom meeting access discussion on the January 12th work session.
I'm just saying, because I don't think it makes sense to amend the rules for the meeting change time and then to amend them again if we're for the remote participation. So I can amend them after you have that discussion about remote participation? Or do you want me to go ahead and at least put it on for discussion for a work session to look at the proposed changes? Just how would you like legal to handle?
Well,
wouldn't it make sense, though, if we're going to discuss the remote at a different time, to have it all done at one time instead of doing this twice?
Yeah, that's what I.
So let's wait then. That's my opinion. I would say wait until, so we can do it all at one time.
That'll give Julie time to figure out what's going on with the software
Okay.
and get that straight, and we'll have more.
So we'll keep the-
idea of when we can make that transition.
all right, so we'll keep the Zoom meeting access discussion for the 12th, and then,
So the resolution, so we could do a work session and just do one reading. So we can maybe at that work session discuss when it will become effective, set a date in February for that.
Does it have to be on the 12th? Can we decide tonight? since we're in a work session already, to whether or not we want to include Zoom?
You could.
Yeah. I mean, you guys know how
We can.
my stance on this. I mean, losing Zoom was a huge deal to the disabled community, and I think, we really need to bring it back. And prior to him exiting, Andy had come to me and told me that they thought they had figured out a solution to it. So I'm not sure if you're up to speed on that, Nick, or Mayor.
I was always in favor of it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to look at bringing that back. So, I mean,
I think the only thing is to make sure we have an appropriate Zoom account. I think that's the issue.
I think that was that was what Andy had figured out, what exactly we needed.
Yeah, we had been hacked.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in other words, going forward, we are all in favor of the Zoom option with further exploring of the account and the security of the account. So then it's done and the time is set, we're good to go.
So we would put the resolution on for the 12th?
Correct, and then it would be passed at the following legislative session, assuming.
The 26th?
Yes, assuming everybody's in agreement with those changes, yes.
Just for my knowledge, because I wasn't here when we did this Zoom, how does that work? Do they have to sign up before in advance to speak?
That was, so it didn't, it was not a very, it was just a basic Zoom. And we didn't, the problem was it kept getting hacked. So they were trying to figure out a better way. I think probably talking to, IT would know better.
Yeah, I was just curious if you wanted to, did you have to sign up in advance?
No, you didn't have to sign up. All you had to do, the Zoom
had to
link
make
would
a
be on the city website.
Yeah.
And they would just.
And click a link, click the link.
Click the link.
You're on, yeah.
But if they wanted to make a public comment, they would just make a comment in the chat, and that was, I think Andy would monitor that.
But not necessarily where we hacked, the person who was probably coming on could have been hacked. And when they came in, it hacked our system as well. So that's what we need to be concerned about, whether they're hacked. That's a concern.
Okay, so it's on the work session, Monday meetings at 6 PM, and Zoom access resolution.
Yep.
Okay, I got it down. That sounds good. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. We wouldn't have known or even understood it, really, because obviously, like Councilwoman Shields said, I mean, you're here all day, and we're showing up at the end of our day to do this. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have public comments for these agenda items only. You have 3 minutes. If anyone likes to make any further public comments.
Michael Langford, 1026 Arthur Court. So I just want to commend you guys, voice support for going back to the weekly meetings. To me, it comes down to basically 50 chances a year if you go weekly for the public to engage with elected officials versus 25. It's just more opportunities. Things will happen. People will get ill. Kids will get sick. So people will plan to come and not be able to. And everything that people come, like on the for the legislative sessions, they may not comment on something on the agenda, so they can come another time. So I just think it's good to have more opportunities for people to engage. And I think doing just as somebody who does events for a living, setting the consistency of the time helps people show up and be able to rely upon the thing. The 4:30 to 6 before threw people, and I remember just showing up way too early at times myself, and when I first came in, before you realize that nobody ever explicitly kind of says how it works in that way. So I definitely think the consistent time will have more engagement. And then I want to suggest something that they could do is when people are absent, it can delay the necessary work of government. So, and if you don't have a quorum or you don't have enough participation for certain, like charter amendments require a certain amount of participation, more people than a regular vote. So I would consider a model where you're docking council members part of their stipend that they get paid as part of their service for missed meetings, because they're here and they're getting that stipend for doing the work. But if they're not present to do the work, then the city could save money that way, as well as it incentivizes people to show up and do the work that we're elected to do. Anyway, just a suggestion on a way to make it more effective. Thank you for your time.
KT, city resident. Most of what Michael said I agree with. I think going to every Monday is great, 6 o'clock, no earlier than that. And I want to thank Ms. Jackson and Ms. Gregory for reaching out to me to reassure me the council would find a way for people with disabilities to attend. So thank you.
Good evening, Monica Brooks, Comico County NAACP and resident. First, yes, I was going to recommend if you all were going to keep the 2 twice a month to just move the work session to first, get that out the way, and then legislative, but we're on the weekly. But it does help people to know, because I was getting confused. I didn't know when the heck meetings were anymore, I'm going to be honest. I kept having to go down to the website. The other thing, Zoom. Please do your due diligence, because yes, it is so beneficial to the community that cannot come out, and not just a disabled community, but our elderly in this time of year, and when it gets to winter. But that hacking was a hot mess, and it took, I'm gonna be honest, it took way too long for y'all to shut that sucker down. Way too long for us to be on the Zoom. I was on many Zooms like, what the heck is and it just keeps going. So there are ways to avoid that, to make sure that you have a proper account. You may also ask people, get people to just sign up, and they can get a login. You all can give people access. I don't know, maybe just do a little committee on it. So that it ends up being something that's beneficial to the community, and they don't get distracted about. Y'all remember, it was so bad.
It was embarrassing.
That's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, it is 7:08. We are now adjourning our work session. We do have a special legislative session that we are going into, and it is 7:08. And I'm now calling this special legislative session to order. Presentations and adoption of the agenda. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the legislative agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. English?
We have one item. It is the acceptance of the financial audit.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Does council have any questions? We have consensus to accept the FYI 2025 financial audit that was presented at the work session by the financial director, Sandy Green, and SB and Company LLC. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okie dokie. And only public comments again about the item that is on the agenda, I think. No, this is legislative. They could say anything. Public comments before we go into administrative comments, council comments. Okay. Administrative comments?
The only thing I have is I did want to update everyone that administration has been reaching out to our advisory committees. So Alan and I have kind of divvied up those committees, and we'll be meeting with the chairs in the coming weeks. Hope to have good conversations and dialogue with those committees. The only other thing I have is hopefully everyone has a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
I wanted to remind or make people aware, 19th on Friday, the mayor's office, along with a lot of department heads who have sponsored gifts for the kids at the Truett Street Community Center, we're going to be doing a giveaway and delivering gifts for them. The police department's going to be doing pizza and cookies and one thing and another. We're going to be there. A lot of department heads are there. I think Sharon's going to be there representing the council. So anybody wants to come, it's a great time. A lot of kids and
Where's it at?
at the Truett Street Community Center.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
What time?
4 o'clock? 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be a really good time.
Yes. 4 to 5.
That's all.
Okay, council comments. Councilwoman DeShiel?
Okay. I have two categories because it's the end of the year. All right, first of all, if you don't, and you've already put one that's really great. I'd like in the new year if we can follow through with Danielle from the State Department regarding coming down here and actually looking at possible areas that can be used for housing and guide us through that whole process regarding the city's input, the county's input, see what's going where with what we can do about housing. An answer to the public, again, tonight. Yes, Mr. Rankin, we did, oh, he's gone. We did get, I did not comment on that because I commented to Robert Taylor, and he did look into almost 20 different towns, and there were 4 areas. One piece of it he did not find in many towns as far as filling a vacancy. And that was whether, you have interviews. And most places did not have interviews. The other 3 things that we have to consider is do you have a special election? And we would determine Easton does have a really good piece, a chunk that they already have in place. The only thing they do not address is if there is a tie, who would settle that tie vote. But a special election would depend on the number of days that are left in that person's tenure, and we would decide whether it was going to be, if it's really close to the election, it may not even be necessary. You appoint somebody for a short period of time, or you can just leave it open. The appointment could be done, most of the municipalities or the towns do it by a combination of the council, the mayor, and getting public input. And that's even with an appointment when you don't have a special election. So I don't see any reason why it can't be addressed. And because hopefully we don't have to, evidently, someone shared with us it's happened 3 times, which I wasn't aware of in the last so many years. So hopefully we are on the straight and narrow now and don't have to even use it. But if we do, we need to have it in place to cover it. When Director Boda has a chance, has your pen out, I got it. Can you give us an update on the noise ordinance for the gas blowers, in just terms not putting them out of business? There are some places, for instance, Annapolis, they're not even allowed. Baltimore City, I think they have banned them. But some of your other smaller municipalities, they just do a time frame and a day. So in other words, it may not be on Sundays, but you have a time piece in there. The other piece was the boarding up houses. Any updates on the houses that are boarded up around the city? I know it's very time extensive, intensive on doing that. But anyway, and the other piece, which one of my constituents was worried about, are the barking dogs. And you yourself have dealt with that with the animal control. We've already discussed that. But the idea is, do we need to be consistent with what the county's policy is? And therefore, when animal control goes out, they don't have to worry about, well, this is city policy, this is county policy. All right, my other thing for the city is, you asked, I still think we have got to address the zoning piece about what we expect from developers. And it just keep putting it off. It doesn't work. And I'm not saying we slam the hammer down and say, okay, unless you give us this, you can't do this. I think it's going to be very in flux in that we have to give some leadway for the city to negotiate what they want and also the developers for what they want in order for both parties to come together. I am not sure. I'm not sure how that would be written. Ashley would probably have better thoughts on that. But I do think we have to have some tier pricing, whether it's rentals or to buy. And hopefully that would make a difference moving forward. Nick, you also could help, I'm sure, on that in terms of what you know from other places and what they do with it. So thank you. I think that was it for my New Year's resolutions. Now, updates. Salisbury Regional Airport has a strategic plan for 2025 to 2029. And it basically, they have key performance indicators. There are 4: safety and a modern airport, convenience, the economy, the viability of the airport, community partnerships, and the infrastructure. And what they did, they currently did, as you're all familiar with the SWOT, the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats. They went ahead and reviewed their previous strategic plan, updated it, and extended it. So there are a lot of things going on. One of the weaknesses, which is aging. One of the opportunities is a new air service. Strengths, location, and a threat is, once again, all the regulations, which everybody in here that has to deal with regulations, they have FAA, the TSA, that kind of thing. But they've plugged all their main priorities in, and they've done an amazing job with rewriting the strategic plan. Town gown at SU last week. The Salisbury University now has a marching band. So it's a Seagull. They have 55 members, and their new director is hoping for 100 next year. Homecoming had almost 7,000 people, and that was a record attendance.
I told them I played the trumpet. They didn't seem to jump on the opportunity, but
I think they're going to tap
it's been
into
since
that
middle
next
school.
year.
I'm ready to go. Yeah,
Each person gets to take their own, instrument. And the athletes, sometimes I personally, you get a bad rap with the athletic program. They are volunteering with a lot of things in the community. And when, I know the last time, I didn't ask for the percentage this time, but when you're up in the 90s for percentile of volunteering and joining different groups, I actually am going to have the SGA help us with the Mission of Mercy Dental Clinic, which is coming back in March this year. And the annual open house at Dove Point was amazing because they have their own choir, and it was a nice way to start the holiday season. Lastly, please, HH, Hands and Hearts Ending Homelessness. We have 36 men. We initially have 32 cots, stretching it to 34, but with this weather, it's gone to 36. So that's open through the end of March, and anything, go online and sign up for anything that you would like to participate. Shout out to Mayor Taylor for being on speed dial for Debbie Rossi with Hope, and trying to figure out something very quickly for this week with the temperatures being what they are. And again, happy Hanukkah. Hanukkah started yesterday. Merry Christmas. And Kwanzaa starts the day after Christmas. So enjoy. That's it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Me?
Yes, Councilwoman.
You ever start down there?
Okay, well, you want me to switch it? You want me to switch it?
No,
Okay.
I mean, I do want you at some point.
Okay, I
but
will.
Today would have been good.
All right.
I want to.
You don't want to listen to me first?
No, it's like I'm just kidding. I want to express some of the things that I've done this week, and I really overworked myself, but I did it. The vet center. I fed like 60 to 80 men and women from the vet center. It was a Christmas program, and it was indeed an honor to do that, to host that for them. Then this week I'm having my Senior Citizens Christmas Dinner and Gift Giveaway, which I'm about to feed over 300 seniors and give gifts. Everything is free to them. If anyone, like I said, wants to make a donation, you're capable of doing it up until Friday night. It's a joy doing these things for the citizens. But what I wanted to say is last week, I felt bad. And I couldn't say what I really wanted to. But what took place last week was terrible. It was really terrible. I wasn't satisfied with the outcome of what happened with the new elected or appointed person. Not that it's nothing against you, Melissa. Please don't take this at heart. But what I want to say is, I called you twice to talk to you. After you were appointed and before you got sworn in, and you never contacted me, but you spoke to everybody on this council by phone. But by some weird way, you nominated me to be the vice president. Okay? Now, what I want you all to know, I don't need to have a title to do what I do. A title doesn't make me or break me. Before I became a city council person, I was working steadfast in my community and in the city of Salisbury and Wycomico County. So don't take it lightly, because I know what happened and I know how it happened. Because Sharon was first asked to be the vice president. See, I'm gonna set the record straight. She was asked to be, and when she declined, it was me. You're not satisfying me by doing stuff like that. I'm not that person. I'm a real person. And so I'm gonna tell you something. God spoke to me then, told me hold my peace and he'd fight my battle. But I have to get this off my chest, because I am tired of people thinking that people are crazy, stupid, and dumb and don't know what's going on around here. What you all did, you should be ashamed of. I'm gonna let it go there. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all the rest of the good stuff. I just had to get that off my chest, because y'all know it was wrong. You know it was wrong. You know it was. I'm done.
Thank you. Councilwoman Holland?
Sure. Ms. Jackson, I won't go into that here. I have one missed phone call from you and a voicemail. I'm not going to get into that. I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday. Enjoy the time with your families, and just take a break and relax all you can. Thank you.
Councilwoman Gregory?
Number one, I just want to give the administration a chance to plug New Year's Eve. So, no, I know it's easy to forget because we're not quite to Christmas yet, but we don't have another council meeting before then.
I
Please put a plug in.
said that to him. Like,
Please put a plug in. Go ahead and put a plug in.
I was going to say, Alan's probably sitting at home going, the one meeting I don't attend, you guys aren't going to mention
blowing this up.
Yeah.
Blowing it up.
The New Year's, yes, the New Year's Eve
Sorry,
ball
Alan.
drop is 9 to midnight on New Year's Eve. So
Fantastic.
Come out and see.
please come out.
It'll be fun.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I know there's been some discussion about ranked choice voting. I've been a huge proponent of it, even talking to Ranked Choice Voting Maryland last summer about coming down and putting on a presentation. This is something that I've been wanting to see us accomplish for a while now, even prior to the past election. So just to give you guys a heads up, Annapolis, Frederick County, Greenbelt, Hyattsville, and Rockville all have ranked choice voting. If you would like to learn a little bit more, you can go to rcvmd.org. They have a nice little sample of what ranked choice voting looks like, so you can kind of go through the motions of what a ranked choice vote would look like. There's also another great video out there, you can probably find it on YouTube, that PBS put out, that's a kind of a quick explainer that also goes through the steps of how ranked choice voting works. I highly recommend you start looking into it. This is something that I would love to be able to bring Ranked Choice Voting Maryland down to talk about, and add them to that agenda item. I think that's something that we really do need to start having a real conversation about. Other than that, I'm looking forward to being around family for the holidays. Please make sure you are looking out for your loved ones, making sure that folks are taking care of themselves. Make sure this is flu season. My daughter just got it. You don't want it, guys. Please go get vaccinated. She hadn't gotten her vaccine yet, and she regrets not doing it, I'm sure, because she was absolutely miserable for several days.
My granddaughter got it.
It's not pretty at all. So please, please, please go get your flu shot if you haven't already. Be safe when you gather with your family. all of that sort of thing. So I hope everybody has a very happy holidays, and I look forward to seeing you in the new year.
Thank you. I guess by the time it usually gets over here, so much has been said, but I do wish everyone a wonderful holidays, however you celebrate. That please take time to for family and friends. There is much coming up in the new year. We have council retreat. We're just planning that, and it's unfolding, but it's going to be on January 5th. It'll be here in the chambers that we know of at this point. We're going to make sure that the chambers are booked for that time. We're going to start at 4:30 to 7:30. They give us plenty of time to discuss many things. We have lots of things on our agenda. We'll be making priorities. And as you can see in our work sessions right off the bat, election reform, important, an appointment process conversation, and of course the Monday meetings. But we do have that election reform. There's going to be lots of discussion about that, and I think we're going to be scheduling a lot of town halls throughout the city to kind of get a lot of feedback from that and thoughts, plus some research, a lot of research and some other ideas maybe we haven't even thought of yet. I don't know. I think talking about the appointment process was followed the way that the charter laid it out and all the appointment processes that I went through. And talking about, there's two different things. Being upset about the appointment process is one thing, or wanting a charter amendment to do something else besides the appointment process is a total different thing than say that it was fraud. That's a pretty big word. There was no fraud. It was actually followed. I consulted with legal. The city did it as it lays out. Hope everyone has a good holiday, and in that, we adjourn.